The morning Ren Kurosaki asked for a divorce, he served breakfast first. Mio Takamine did not notice she was losing her husband. She only noticed the folder beside the grilled fish. 3 years earlier, Ren's life had collapsed quietly after graduation. His younger sister, Nami, needed surgery his family could not afford. That was when Mio appeared with a black contract folder. Mio was the perfect heiress of Takamine Holdings. Beautiful, brilliant, distant, and impossible for ordinary people to approach. She offered Ren 80 million yen to marry her for 3 years. The marriage would block an arranged alliance chosen by her family board. Ren would receive the money immediately and disappear afterward. There would be no romance, no interference, and no public mistakes. Ren signed because Nami's hospital bed mattered more than pride. For 3 years, he became Mio's legal husband in public. At home, he became her cook, cleaner, driver, assistant, and shield. Inside her company's shadow, he became the backup nobody credited. He caught budget errors before auditors arrived. He rewrote proposals her executives were too afraid to defend. He protected schedules, supplier notes, medicine, meals, and midnight crises. Mio accepted all of it, as if Ren had always belonged there. She never asked whether he was tired. She never asked whether he wanted anything for himself. The contract had bought his time. Mio understood too late that it had not bought his patience. Rain tapped against the penthouse windows during breakfast. Mio sat at the table, reading a board report on her tablet. Ren placed grilled fish, miso soup, and warm tea in front of her. Mio said thank you without looking up. Her phone lit up with Soma Kirishima's name. Soma was the man Mio had waited for before the contract marriage. Ren watched her expression soften the moment she answered. That small change hurt more than any insult. When the call ended, Ren set a folder beside her breakfast. Mio said he could leave household paperwork in the study. Ren said this paperwork was for today. Mio opened it and saw divorce documents inside. Her chopsticks stopped above the bowl. Ren said the 3 years were over. He said he would not renew the contract. Then Ren quietly said he wanted a divorce. Mio stared at him as if the room had tilted. For 3 years, Ren had never refused her. Now he looked calm, tired, and unreachable. Mio asked if he understood the penalty clause. Ren said he understood it completely. Mio said 80 million yen was not pocket money. Ren said he would repay it within 1 year. Mio laughed once, sharp and cold. She asked who had given him that courage. Ren looked at her phone and said nobody had to. He had simply run out of reasons to stay. Mio's pride would not let her ask him to stay. She changed clothes and ordered the driver downstairs. Ren packed one suitcase because almost nothing in the penthouse was his. The ride to the ward office was silent. Mio looked out one window, while Ren watched the rain blur Tokyo. Neither of them mentioned the breakfast left untouched behind them. At the counter, the clerk asked whether they were certain. Mio answered yes before Ren could speak. Ren signed after her, slower but steady. The clerk stamped the documents with ordinary boredom. 3 years of marriage became a finished record in minutes. Mio walked out first, heels striking the wet pavement. Ren followed with a suitcase in one hand. The driver opened Mio's car door. She stepped inside without turning around. Ren stood under the awning and watched the car leave. He expected his chest to tear open. Instead, he felt hollow, like a room after moving day. Mio's car stopped at the first traffic light. Soma called again, before the rain even softened. His voice was gentle, wounded, and carefully rehearsed. He asked why Ren had answered her phone last night. He said he had called to tell her he was returning to Japan. Mio frowned at the jealousy hidden in his tone. Then, a woman's sleepy voice sounded behind Soma. Soma went quiet for half a second too long. Mio asked where he was. Soma said the hotel lounge was crowded. The lie was smooth, but the timing was not. Mio ended the call before he finished explaining. For the first time, Soma felt less like a dream. He felt like a stranger, with expensive perfume on his collar. Mio did not go to Takamine Holdings that morning. She went to the Takamine family estate instead. Ryuka Takamine was trimming bonsai in the sunroom. Haruto Takamine was reading beside her and pretending not to nap. Mio stood in the doorway and said the marriage was over. Ryuka's scissors stopped in midair. Haruto lowered his book and asked what Ren had done wrong. Mio said Ren was the one who filed. Haruto stood up, suddenly offended for his daughter. Ryuka raised one finger, and Haruto sat down again. Then Ryuka asked what Mio had done to deserve it. Mio said she had done nothing. Ryuka smiled, like a general preparing artillery. She asked who saved Mio's Osaka hotel proposal overnight. Mio's expression tightened. Ryuka slid an old report across the table. The correction marks were Ren's handwriting. Ryuka asked who caught the budget error before auditors arrived. Haruto quietly stared at his book. Ryuka asked who cooked during Mio's migraine week. Mio looked away. Ryuka asked, who remembered every food Mio pretended to hate. Mio said Ren knew the marriage was only a contract. Ryuka said contracts do not make people loyal at midnight. She said Mio had mistaken patience for weakness. Mio snapped that everyone liked Ren more than their real daughter. Ryuka said people favor whoever behaves like family. Mio said Soma was returning soon and wanted to marry her. Ryuka's face went completely still. She said Soma wanted shares, not a wife. She warned Mio not to bring him near Takamine Holdings. Mio said her life was her choice. Ryuka said choices have invoices. Then Ryuka froze Mio's apartment access and household staff. Mio stared at her mother in disbelief. Ryuka said a woman who threw away a home could learn rent prices. Haruto tried to speak, then saw Ryuka's eyes. He complimented the bonsai instead. Ryuka picked up her phone and called Ren. She said the only adult in this mess owed her answers. Ren was outside a cheap business hotel when Ryuka called. Ryuka's first words made him stand straight in the rain. She asked if he had forgotten how to greet his elders. Ren immediately called her mother. Ryuka told him to reach Tsukikage Dining in 15 minutes. Ren looked at the buses, the rain, and his soaked shoes. Then he started running. At Tsukikage Dining, Ryuka already had tea and dry towels waiting. She also had the patience of a loaded weapon. Ren bowed and apologized for the divorce. Ryuka said apologies were cheap and explanations were expensive. She asked why he left Mio. Ren said the contract ended naturally. Ryuka asked if he wanted her to call a doctor. She said obvious lies were a medical emergency. Ren sat down and stopped pretending. He explained Nami's surgery and the original payment. He said Mio never promised him affection. He said he had been foolish enough to expect warmth anyway. Ryuka listened once, then pushed a thick envelope across the table. Inside were cash and a spare key. Ren froze before the explanation reached him. Ryuka said it was not charity. It was payment for 3 years of unpaid suffering. Ren said Mia deserved someone from her own world. He said Soma returning made the timing cleaner. Ryuka set her teacup down with a quiet click. She said Soma was from the world of parasites in tailored suits. Ren almost smiled despite himself. He tried to refuse the envelope. Ryuka said refusing would insult the woman he still called mother. Ren accepted immediately. The key belonged to a modest apartment near Nekinguro. Ren said he would repay her too. Ryuka told him to repay Mio first, then argue later. Before leaving, she warned him not to vanish from Tokyo. She said if she needed help, he would answer. Ren said he would. Ryuka nodded, satisfied, and called him half a son. Back at the estate, Mio sat alone in her childhood room. There was no driver waiting, no assistant calling, and no Ren nearby. For the first time, silence felt heavy instead of peaceful. She tried to think about Soma's return. Instead, she remembered Ren placing ginger tea beside her laptop. She remembered him waiting outside the hospital during her fever. She remembered him changing her presentation while she slept. She remembered him pretending not to notice when she cried from stress. Those memories were small, ordinary, and impossible to throw away. Mio told herself she only missed convenience. She said Ren had simply trained her badly, but Soma's face had become blurry in her mind. Ren's tired smile was painfully clear. Mio hated that realization. By evening, she needed air before her thoughts swallowed her. She went to a members-only lounge near Ginza. It was not her usual kind of place. The music was too loud, and the smiles were too practiced. Mio drank one glass, then another. Men approached her because beauty attracts flies with expensive watches. The first bragged about his salary. Mio said her monthly tax bill was probably higher. The second said he knew important people. Mio asked whether any of them could spell discretion. The third refused to leave after she rejected him. He reached for her wrist with an ugly smile. Before he touched her, someone stepped between them. It was Daichai Morita, Ren's sworn friend. Daichai said anyone bothering his sister-in-law should reconsider living comfortably. Mio corrected him through the alcohol haze. She said she was the ex-sister-in-law now. Daichai froze, then immediately called Ren. Ren arrived at the lounge 20 minutes later. His hair was damp, his jacket was old, and his expression was furious. Mio saw him and tried to stand with dignity. She managed 2 steps before stumbling into his arms. The men nearby suddenly remembered urgent appointments elsewhere. Ren thanked Daich and guided Mio outside. Mio covered her face and told him not to look at her. Ren said the entire lounge had already looked enough. The night air hit her, and Mio immediately felt sick. Ren closed his eyes and counted to 3. It did not help. He asked where her driver was. Mio muttered that Ryuka had frozen everything. Ren asked for her apartment key. Mio said the access code no longer worked. Ren stared at her. Mio's voice softened until it nearly disappeared. She said she had nowhere to go tonight. That sentence emptied Ren's anger faster than any apology. He wanted to say she deserved it, Instead, he helped her into a taxi. His new apartment still smelled like fresh paint and cardboard. Mio took one look at the clean bedding and collapsed onto it. Ren stood in the doorway with the expression of a man betrayed by fate. He slept on the couch that night. Before dawn, Mio's phone rang until he answered it half asleep. Ryuka's voice thundered through the speaker. She asked whether Mio had ignored the house rules on day one. Ren said quietly that it was him. The line went dead. 1 minute later, a message arrived from Ryuka. The message explained nothing, because Ryuka disliked wasting words. She and Haruto were leaving for a hot spring trip. Mio's apartment access and household staff would stay frozen. Mio could stay with Ren until she learned basic survival. Ryuka also warned him not to call and complain. Ren stared at the message in defeat. In the bedroom, Mio opened one eye and pretended not to smile. Morning sunlight revealed the absurdity of Ren's situation. He was divorced, in debt, and somehow hosting his ex-wife. Mio walked out wearing his spare sweatshirt like she owned it. Her hair was messy, and her expression was shamelessly calm. She asked whether breakfast was ready. Ren said this was not a hotel. Mio said she knew, because hotels had worse soup. Ren took a long breath and entered the kitchen anyway. While he cooked, he relayed Ryuka's message. Mio said her mother was being dramatic. Ren said Ryuka had probably planned the whole thing. Mio sat at the counter and watched him move around the kitchen. For years, she had seen those movements without seeing him. Now, every small habit looked painfully familiar. Ren placed breakfast in front of her. Mio unlocked her phone and opened Soma's contact page. Ren pretended not to watch. Mio blocked Soma's number without a word. Ren's hand paused above the teapot. Mio asked if he was jealous. Ren said he was too busy being bankrupt. Mio leaned forward and asked again. Ren told her to eat before the soup cooled. Mio said she would not choose Soma if Ren admitted jealousy. Ren stared at her, exhausted. He said fine, he was jealous. Mio's mood brightened so quickly it was almost offensive. Ren said jealousy did not erase 80 million yen. Mio said creditors deserved polite breakfast service. Ren said ex-wives deserved basic table manners. Neither of them noticed how naturally they were arguing. The contract had made them distant. The divorce had somehow made them honest. After breakfast, Ren left for a job interview. Mio asked if he wanted a ride. Ren said her office was nowhere near his destination. Mio looked annoyed that he refused so easily. Ren took the train to Seonji Group headquarters. Seonji Group was Takamine Holdings' sharpest rival. Joining them was risky, but Ren needed real money fast. The plaza outside, the building was polished enough to reflect clouds. Ren stepped forward just as a white sports car swept past him. The car stopped so close that wind slapped his coat. A woman in black heels stepped out without looking back. She moved like someone who expected the world to dodge first. Ren muttered that beautiful women were natural disasters in designer clothing. Inside, the interview room was unexpectedly calm. Manager Sato from Human Resources welcomed him with tea. Two senior planners sat beside her with careful expressions. They asked Ren to introduce himself. Ren said he was 25, divorced, and deeply motivated by debt. The planners blinked, unsure whether to laugh. Manager Sato asked about his experience at Takamine Holdings. Ren said he had assisted with planning projects indirectly. One planner asked how Seonji should attack Takamine's budget retail chain. Ren said they should not attack it at all. He explained that the chain was a defensive shield, not a growth engine. He said Seonji should pressure Takamine's luxury supplier contracts instead. The room went quiet. Manager Sato asked why he left Takamine Holdings. Ren said the commute from his new life was too far. The answer was obvious nonsense, but nobody pushed. Manager Sato smiled and said they would contact him soon. As Ren stood to leave, he asked about the white sports car downstairs. The interviewers all became strangely pale. Manager Sato asked whether he had been injured. Ren said not yet, but the day was young. Ren reached the elevator still thinking about the car. The doors opened, and someone rushed out while reading a tablet. Ren stepped aside, but the woman crashed into his shoulder. Her tablet nearly fell, and Ren caught it by reflex. The woman looked up with sharp amber eyes. It was the driver from the white sports car. She accused him of blocking her path on purpose. Ren said she drove like traffic laws were personal suggestions. Her smile became dangerous. She asked which department he belonged to so she could ruin it. Ren said he did not work there. She said that could be fixed. Then she stepped on his shoe with a pointed heel. Ren grabbed the elevator rail and hissed in pain. Manager Sato rushed over with the terror of a woman watching disaster bloom. She addressed the woman as Rina Seonji. Ren realized he had just insulted someone extremely important. Rina realized he was the interview candidate. She looked him over, then laughed. She told Manager Sato to hire him. Manager Sato looked even more terrified. Rina said people who dared talk back were useful until they broke. Ren said he preferred employment without threats. Rina said Seonji Group offered growth opportunities. Ren said that sounded like a warning label.
Rena walked away smiling. By the time Ren reached the lobby, his phone buzzed.
The message said he had passed the interview.
He was expected to begin Monday. Ren looked back at the building and sighed.
His first step toward freedom looked suspiciously like a trap.
Ren stopped at the supermarket with Seonji documents in his bag. The supplier file pressed against his side like unpaid trouble. He bought mushrooms, green beans, soft tofu, and sweet soy ribs. Halfway through checkout, he realized every item was Mio's favorite. He considered putting everything back. Then, he imagined her hungry face and hated himself for continuing. When Ren entered the apartment, Mio was already on the couch. She wore yellow bear pajamas and held a bag of chips.
She looked less like a vice president and more like a runaway cat.
Mio said she was starving. Ren asked whether starvation included doing laundry badly. Mio said creditors could not be expected to master everything. Ren gave up and carried groceries into the kitchen.
Mio followed him like a bored princess, inspecting her kingdom.
She noticed the ingredients immediately. She asked whether he bought all her favorites on purpose. Ren said they were on sale. Mio pointed at the premium ribs. Ren said Seonji's salary expectations had inspired optimism. Mio smiled like she had caught him lying. She asked for extra chili and the green beans. Ren reminded her of the winter night. She ate spicy fish and ended up in emergency care. Mio's smile faded slightly. She remembered Ren sitting beside her hospital bed until morning. Back then, she thought care was part of the contract. Now, the memory felt warmer and harder to name. She said less chili was fine.
Ren asked if Her Highness could bring bowls to the table. Mio called him Steward Ren and obeyed.
He smiled before realizing it. His Seonji file sat unopened by the sink. Dinner passed quietly, but the silence no longer felt cold. Afterward, Mio helped wash dishes without being asked. Ren pretended not to notice how much that mattered. Then, his phone buzzed with Seonji onboarding files. Mio noticed the company name and said nothing. After dinner, Ren opened his laptop to review Seonji documents. Mio changed into casual clothes and stood beside the couch. She asked if he wanted to take a walk. Ren said he had work.
Mio said ex-husbands should care about creditor health. Ren said creditors could walk alone. Mio took a deep breath and changed tactics. She asked sweetly, almost too sweetly, if Ren would please come. Ren lasted 3 seconds before closing the laptop. They walked through the apartment complex, beneath warm streetlights. Mio drew attention without trying. Ren noticed men looking, and his mood worsened for no logical reason. They passed a small basketball court near the convenience store. One player twisted his ankle and limped out. Someone asked Ren to fill in for a few minutes. Ren said he had not played in years. Mio said that sounded like an excuse. Ren handed her his jacket and stepped onto the court. At first, his passes were stiff and his shots missed badly. The younger players exchanged amused looks. Then Ren found his rhythm. He stole one pass, sank one clean shot, then another. Sweat loosened the tension he had carried for days. Mio sat on the bench, watching with a strange expression. One player asked if Ren's wife always watched him like that. Mio corrected him immediately. She said ex-wife, then paused as if the word annoyed her. The younger players looked at Ren like he had fumbled treasure. Ren heard just enough when he returned for water. He took the bottle from Mio's hand and drank without asking. Then, he said the flower was already taken. Mio laughed, and the other players looked devastated. For a moment, divorce felt like paperwork from another lifetime. That night, Ren fell asleep on the couch from exhaustion. Mio sat in the bedroom, holding his old phone. The screen lit her face pale blue. She told herself she was only checking for dead information. The lie did not convince even her.
There were few contacts, almost no messages, and one strange number. The number appeared twice, both times with no name. Mio remembered once hearing a calm female voice answer Ren's phone. The thought irritated her more than it should have. She called Keiko Sato, a department supervisor at Takamine Holdings. Her voice turned warm and professional at once. Mio stood by the window while the call rang. She asked about Keiko's rejected vacation request. Keiko immediately said everything at home was fine. Mio approved 4 days of leave before asking for a favor. She needed a phone number traced discreetly. Keiko's husband worked in telecom security. After the call ended, the bedroom became too quiet. Mio watched Ren sleeping beyond the cracked door. 30 minutes later, Keiko called back in a whisper.
The number could not be traced through ordinary channels. Its registration was sealed under high-level protection.
Keiko said even the carrier record treated it like a locked room. Mio closed Ren's phone with both hands. Ren Kurosaki was supposed to be poor, ordinary, and transparent. A protected number did not belong in that kind of life. For 3 years, she had assumed she knew everything about him. Now, she wondered if she had known only the part he allowed her to see. That thought felt worse than jealousy. It felt like loss beginning all over again. The weekend passed quietly, but the calm had a deadline. Mio buried herself in Takamine Holdings, reports from Ren's small desk. Ren studied Seonji Group files at the kitchen table. They moved around each other like people, remembering an old dance. Mio still left cups in strange places. Ren still collected them without thinking. Neither mentioned Soma. Across the ocean, Soma Kirishima stared at his blocked calls. His assistant reported that Mio was no longer living at the Takamine estate. He also reported rumors that she had been seen with Ren. Soma's expression darkened. He had expected Mio to wait obediently for his return. He had not expected the disposable husband to remain relevant. Soma asked about Mio's shares and board influence. The assistant said Ryuka had tightened family oversight. Soma smiled without warmth.
He said then, Ren needed to be removed first.
Back in Tokyo, Ryuka and Haruto sat in a hot spring inn. Haruto asked whether leaving Mio with Ren was truly wise. Ryuka asked whether he had learned nothing after 3 years. She said Ren was safer than Mio's own pride. Haruto asked if he could smoke on the balcony. Ryuka allowed 1 cigarette because she was in a good mood.
Haruto accepted the mercy like a royal decree.
Ryuka looked toward the mountains and smiled. She said stubborn children learn best after losing the thing they wasted. Monday morning arrived with clear skies and bad omens. Mio ate breakfast quickly before leaving for Takamine Holdings. At the door, she asked if Ren wanted a ride.
Ren said he preferred arriving alive.
Mio understood the reference to Rena's driving and laughed despite herself. Then she adjusted his tie without thinking. Both of them froze for half a second. Mio pulled her hand back first and told him not to embarrass her. Ren said they worked at rival companies now. Mio said that meant he should embarrass other people instead. Ren arrived at Seonji Group early.
This time, he used the pedestrian path with religious seriousness.
The receptionist greeted him with a bright smile. She handed him his employee card and a small wrapped candy. She said Seonji gave every new hire candy for a sweet beginning. Ren looked at the candy and thought about leaving bitterness behind. For one foolish second, he felt hopeful. Then, a cold voice sounded behind him.
Rina Seonji said sweetness was bad for weak employees.
Ren turned and found her standing with a tablet under one arm. Her smile was sharp enough to open envelopes.
She said his trial period began now.
She placed a crisis file against his chest. The file concerned Takamine Holdings' supplier network. One section was marked with red tabs. If Seonji attacked there, Takamine could lose 3 contracts in a week. Worse, Mio would look blind inside her own boardroom.
Ren looked down and immediately understood the trap.
His first assignment at Seonji involved his ex-wife's company. Rina asked whether he wanted to quit before lunch. Ren looked toward the elevators and slipped the candy into his pocket.
He said he had too much debt to be scared by paperwork.
Rina's smile widened. The elevator doors opened like the mouth of a wolf. Ren stepped inside anyway. At Takamine Holdings, Mio opened her morning report and stopped cold.
Seonji Group had requested data on the same suppliers Ren once warned her about.
Only a handful of people understood that weakness. Ren was one of them. Mio's fingers tightened around the tablet. Then her hand loosened, because anger was easier than fear. The supplier names were ones Ren had once circled for her. Mio touched his old contact, then pulled her thumb back. She wondered whether she had pushed him there herself. Meanwhile, Soma boarded a flight to Tokyo with a polished smile. In his briefcase sat a proposal aimed directly at Mio's voting rights. He told himself Mio had simply been confused by loneliness. Once he returned, he would correct the situation. He did not yet understand that Ren was no longer silent. At Seonji Group, Ren entered a conference room full of senior executives. Rina introduced him as the former Takamine household husband. Several people smiled with quiet contempt. Ren placed the crisis file on the table.
Then, he began explaining the supplier weakness in exact detail. One by one, the smiles disappeared.
Rina watched him through the conference room glass. Mia sat in her office with Ren's contact glowing on her phone. Soma watched Tokyo lights through the airplane window. Ryuka sipped tea at the hot spring inn and waited.
3 fronts had opened at once.
Mio wanted Ren back, but did not know how to ask. Soma wanted Ren gone, but did not know who he was challenging. Rina wanted to use Ren, but did not know how dangerous usefulness could become.
And Ren Kurosaki, once bought as a contract husband, finally began choosing his own battlefield.